Do you see that truck back there? That's my stepson's truck, which he probably washes once a week at least in this driveway. You see that Malibu right there? That's my car. You know how often that gets hand washed in this driveway? Like 0 times a year. You see this bike back here? Apparently, you're supposed to wash those too. Who knew? And apparently, all you need to do it is some good old handy Dawn. So my bike is going, I say that, like I've taken ownership of this thing. We're tight now. Jess's bike is going in to the doctor, the shop, on Wednesday. And God love them, the guys at Reeser said, hey, before you bring it back in, do you think you could maybe wash it? I was like, well, absolutely. How do you do that? So he said, just Dawn dish soap, scrub it down with a sponge, and then I'm just gonna lightly, delicately, like I'm watering a baby angel in heaven, going to just trickle water over it to rinse it off. So let's see if I can figure this out. See if you can see the dirt in there. Oh yeah. Just dainty little sweet baby angel bath. I think, you know, I feel stupid about everything. But I think, you know, the reason that I never would have thought to wash it is because you just think this is so fragile and you don't want to do anything wrong. And I think that is like the number one hang up with triathlons in general is it's just there are so many moving parts to it that you really just have to get in there and start asking people. Okay. She's a beaut, Clark. The next day, we headed back to Reeser to get my bike worked on. They are going to hopefully teach me how to change a tire. Hopefully I'm not going to need to know how to do that, but I will if I need to. And get my bike fitted to me. So let's go inside.
So that's already been used. This recycling. Ooh. Comes with the 20.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. It's ease the blow a little bit. New one. Let's see what else we have here. We have a nice multi-tool, all the wrenches and stuff, patch kit, and a tire lever. So the only thing we do need is an inner tube. But you can flip things over.
Yeah.
And take off your wheel. Trying to be careful not to slide it along the ground. Now I took note that I was basically on the 3rd gear from the top there.
Mm-hmm. So that's where you want to put it back.
It makes it easier.
Okay.
Yeah, now I got that valve nut off. I'll push the tire and I can see inside there that rim strip that's on the rim.
The green?
The green.
Okay.
Sometimes it's white or black or, you know, it could be different colors, but I'll just put the tire lever in and slide it around. I do one whole side at a time.
Okay.
Got one side off, then I push the other side over, and either, a lot of times, like, you might have to pull the other side off with the tire lever, but a lot of times you can just pull it off by hand. Try to keep everything in alignment. My valve hole is at the bottom. My stem's at the bottom, so I'm going to line this back up and kind of find out where my flat is. And actually has popped that cartridge now. Yeah, so right now I know this is at 6 o'clock, the rim's at 6 o'clock, the valve stem's at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is pull this out and inflate it.
To see where your flat is.
To see where the flat is, yeah. And then you can listen and you'll be able to find like, oh, there's a pinhole right here. Line this back up. This was at 6 o'clock position, and go, oh, okay, I should look in this area. The hole's here. I look there, I look inside the tire. I look on the outside, and I see if I can find what caused the flat.
Okay, so say you had like a big gash, okay, and you had another tube, so you changed your tube and you tried to patch this as much as possible. Like, would you still be able to, depending on how far away you were, but would you be able to get back with that gash still in your tire? Or
if there's a big cut, the tire is what holds the tube in. The tire is really what holds the pressure. The tube is just the balloon inside. Without the tire there, the tube just goes until it blows up. So if there's a big cut,
like you're pretty much done,
over a 1/4 inch, yeah, you're either done, or you can do one of two things. You can take like say a power bar wrapper or an energy bar wrapper, like one of the Mylar wrappers, and kind of sit it in there. Or you could fold up a dollar bill.
Yeah.
100 works better, but you can also use a dollar because it's that cotton paper. It's a little bit stronger.
Okay.
And you wouldn't inflate, like say your tire goes to 100 psi. You wouldn't inflate it to that much pressure, but you'd inflate it more to like 50 or 60, just to be able to get home. Yeah, this says 100 to 145.
When you get to 100 psi, does that thing have a gauge on it? Or
no,
are you
you
just
don't
by
on this.
feel?
So this is going to be by feel. Hopefully at home you have a pump with a gauge that you'd be able to get the right pressure each time. Put it back together. What I'm going to do is
find the hole.
Find the hole.
That's the valve.
And a lot of people put the nut on really tight here. I do not. I put it on loosely. And then I just start putting one side of the tire on at a time. And so you slide one whole side on. And I'm just doing it by hand. I get to a certain point, and I might need to use the tire lever to get that last bit on. And you just kind of slide it under there and pry the tire on. I go and do the other side. I want to start by the valve stem, sliding the tire on. I want to make sure that that tube stays inside the tire as well. You see this tube is starting to pop out a little bit, so I'm trying to push it in by hand as I go. And then you see right here the tube sticking out by that valve. So that's why I had this valve loose. I'm going to push up on it to try to make sure that it's inside there and not getting in the way. I also might start to let a little bit of that initial air back out and push the tire towards the center of the rim, the edge, because that will allow me to, it's a little deeper channel and allows me to get that last part on easier if I go around the tire and push the whole tire on. And so now what looked impossible, I'm just doing with my thumbs. Because if the tube's between the tire and the rim, it'll end up blowing out.
Popping, yeah.
Yeah, I'll push the tire off the rim. So look at both sides, go through. It just takes an extra moment. Make sure that's in there. And then I'm going to tighten the valve, this nut up a little bit. But I'm going to wait until I'm inflated before I push it all the way. This inflator has a spring. As I push up, it's going to let the air out of here and in. So it starts inflating, just like that. Tighten that nut up, just to where it's nice and snug, not too tight. Tighten this guy up. Again, not too tight, just snug. Put the cap on if you have it. Turn this around. Now this nut and the gears will go in between the two sections of the chain. So you see the chain's going that way, chain's going that way. I'll pull the chain up, and I'll try to drop it back on that third gear where I was before.
And then that pops up.
Pull it up and push down. And sometimes now I have to loosen that brake up. There's that lever on the brake. So it gets past the brake, slips down on there, and tighten this up. This lever should flip to about the 90-degree position. And stop, so you can see it kind of flips to there, and that's where it finds resistance, and then you kind of push it the rest of the way.
Okay.
Tighten your brake back up, throw everything in your bag, and you're set.
You made that look really easy. How many times have you changed the tire?
Probably 15,000 to 20,000 times.
All right, well, thank you.
Sure.
I feel like I know enough to be dangerous.
Yes!